Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Houston Inside Out. I am your host, James J. And today we're going to talk about some overlooked expenses that you may encounter while you're purchasing a house. Stay tuned. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to Houston Inside Out. I am your host, James J. And I am happy to be back with you guys. So today we are talking about some overlooked costs or fees that are associated with you purchasing a home. Now, some of these are fees that are going to be associated with the actual closing of the home. Some of these are going to be things that are associated before you get to closing. A couple of them may be a little obvious, but there's a couple of things at closing that people sometimes may not understand why they're being charged certain fees. But that's what we're going to talk about today. I think this is a very, very important topic to discuss. So you're aware, if you are out there looking to purchase a home this month, or as we head into the buying season of the spring and summer, definitely something to be prepared for, especially if you've never purchased a home before, right? These are things that you're going to be just kind of tuck away and remember when you start seeing estimates. Remember certain fees that are associated with you purchasing a home. So as most of us know, obviously purchasing a home is probably the biggest purchase most of us are going to make in our lifetime. I would say the majority of people, well over the majority of people, this is going to be the biggest purchase that anybody ever makes. So as you start looking for the home, and once you get the home under contract, I'm going to just share with you guys about 5 different things that you can look at or be prepared for as you start to move forward from contract to close. The first one is going to be the home inspection. Now, if you are purchasing new construction, you may forego a home inspection. I know a lot of people do at the beginning anyway. All right, so on a new construction home, brand new, depending on your situation, depending on your history of maybe if you purchased a new home before and maybe you had a bad experience with the home builder, you may be one person that is looking to do a home inspection before you close on it. All right, I've had a lot of clients in the past where they had a bad experience with the building of a home. A lot of work was done wrong, and they had maybe they had a very difficult time getting the builder to fix certain things. And this is before closing, right? It shouldn't be an issue, but I can tell you it happens. So for those people, they may be looking at a home inspection as something that is absolutely necessary for them if they purchase another one. All right, they want to have an inspector go in there, inspect before they close, get a list of things that need to be addressed, and take that to the builder. Now, I usually will recommend that if you're purchasing a new construction home, to live in the home, typically you're going to have at least a 1-year bumper to bumper, so to speak, warranty on your home. Get an inspection after being in the home for several months, and then you'll come across some things that may come up as, actually not may, I can almost guarantee you're going to come up with something that you would not have come up with had you not lived in the house, right? It's just a whole different situation when you're living in the house versus the home builder, the superintendent, all the salespeople walking the house before you live in it. So I usually will recommend that people go ahead, live in the house for a little while, a few months. If you've got a year warranty, maybe wait till month 9 or 10, get an inspection done at that point, and then you can take whatever you found in the inspection to the builder at that point. So home inspections are going to run cost-wise anywhere between $300 to, I would say, $500-$600 on just a normal size, maybe up to 3,000-4,000 square foot home. If you start to get a little bit higher in square footage, then maybe you guys will have a little bit more of a cost associated with the home inspection. By the way, guys, if you have questions about this or any other topic that we discuss on the show, you can head on over to myhoustoninsideout.com. I'm going to put that on the screen, myhoustoninsideout.com. And there is a lot of resources there. If you've got questions about this topic or any other topic that we discuss, or any other topic that maybe you want discussed, just let me know. But myhoustoninsideout.com is the website. So let's move on to the second overlooked fee / cost: title services. All right. So in Houston, I think pretty much in all of Texas, like, we typically use title companies here. Some people from different parts of the country, Midwest, maybe up north, sometimes are used to going to like an attorney's office. We don't usually use attorney's office. Either way, there's a fee associated with it, right? So if you're using a title company, the title company charges a fee to actually administer the closing. And all that means is they're going to, first and foremost, they're going to do a title search if it's a resale home, or really any home. They're going to do a title search. Then they are going to be the ones that you actually sign paperwork with. So they're kind of the last line, maybe, so to speak, line of defense before you actually close on the home. They get all the paperwork from the lender, all the paperwork from the title search, which is not that much, but they get all those documents, and then they are the ones who actually go through the documents with you when you close. They charge a fee for that, right? They all charge a fee, whether it's an attorney's office or title company. They're going to charge a fee. So you need to be prepared for that fee, because there will be one associated with it, whether you go with an attorney or go with a title company. So they're going to vary, but title companies are pretty straightforward in their fees. It could be $300, $400, or $500. They're pretty consistent with their fees from one title company to the next. Now, there might be some situation where it's completely, maybe they've got to do something that they normally would not do during their normal title search, and maybe there's some other fees associated with it. But I would say a good range for most title companies on a normal closing, which in this business, normal, there is no normal, quite honestly. There really isn't. But $300 to maybe $500-$600. And then if it's maybe commercial or a bigger property or some other twist that gets thrown into the closing, there might be some other fees associated with it. But nonetheless, title company is going to charge a fee to do the closing. All right. So that's something that you will see when you get an estimate from a lender. Typically, they're going to have an estimate for the title fee. All right. The other thing is the appraisal fee. Now, typically, the appraisal fee will get paid at closing. Right? Typically. Now, there are lenders that will charge you for the appraisal fee up front. Why? Well, if they wait till closing, they get the appraisal done, and they wait till closing, and it never gets to closing. Right now, they have to come track you down. Maybe not track you down. Maybe that's not the best word, but they have to come get you to pay the fee for the appraiser. The appraiser is going to get paid no matter whether you close or not. So a lot of lenders will ask you to pay that cost up front. All right. So you might be looking anywhere from $300 to $600, $700. It could go higher depending on the property that you are having to pay for the appraisal. The lender obviously wants to make sure that the property you're purchasing is worth what you're paying for it. That's the whole reason for the appraisal. It's going to vary per lender. Some lenders will wait to the end and you will get charged that fee at closing. Some lenders will request that you pay for that appraisal up front. They're different, guys. There's no right or wrong way, one way or the other. It's just the lender's policy. That's all it is. You're going to pay for it one way or the other. So if the appraiser goes out there, the appraiser is going to get paid, period. Right? No matter whether you close on a house or not, the appraiser will get paid. So just keep in mind that fee, once that appraiser goes out to that house, he or she is going to get paid whether you close on it or not. So this is why a lot of lenders have gone to paying or having the client pay for the appraisal up front. So that way it's out of the way. The appraisal gets paid, they can move on, and the lender doesn't have to look for someone after, if a deal falls apart and the appraiser's already gone out to the house, they don't have to come back to you and say, hey, we need you to pay for this appraisal fee. Because that's what will happen if for some reason stuff went sideways and you did not close on the house. The other thing is HOA fees. All right. So if you're buying a home in a neighborhood where there is an HOA, a homeowners association, all those homeowners association communities have dues. All right. So sometimes they're going to charge a transfer fee. Actually, I would say most of the time they're going to charge a transfer fee. Then the other thing is that they're going to prorate from the time you take over the house to from the time you didn't own the house during the year. So let me give you an example. So if you closed on the house in June, for example, from January to June, or January to May, you didn't own the house. So they're going to prorate that amount. And then you may see on your closing statement an estimate for, from June to whenever the end of the year is typically. All right, it's a debit credit thing. I won't get into it too much, but just know you may see something on there for a prorated amount for homeowners association dues, but you will see something on there for transfer fees. As far as transfer fees go, sometimes on resale, you can negotiate that with the seller. You pay some of it, they pay some of it. On new construction, you may not be able to necessarily negotiate that, but you can always ask, right, to see. But there's going to be some type of fee typically if you're buying a home in a neighborhood that has a homeowners association, which at this rate these days, if you're buying a new home, it's probably going to be in an HOA. So that's something to keep in mind. And then as far as the amount of the dues, they can range, guys. There's all kinds of different things that HOA dues cover. If you're in a neighborhood with a park, a pool, multiple pools, multiple parks, your HOA is going to vary as far as what that costs you per month and per year. Now, one thing I want to mention, when you are qualified for a mortgage, right? When you're qualified, when the lender is qualifying you, they will take your HOA for the year, divide it by 12, and add that to your payment, all right? So, for example, you use easy math here. If your HOA dues are $1,200 a year, that's $100 a month. They're going to take, the lender I'm talking here, they're going to take $100 and add that to your monthly payment estimate, right? To make sure that you can qualify to pay your mortgage payment, your taxes and insurance if you're escrowing, and your HOA dues. All right, now keep in mind, HOA dues are not paid monthly. All right, they're either a quarterly or typically quarterly or yearly. You may be able to pay it every, semi-annually, but typically it's either quarterly or annually. You don't pay it every month, but the lender is going to use the monthly amount to qualify you to make sure you can still pay it when it comes due. So that is a key point to keep in mind. Most lenders are going to qualify you for the mortgage loan with the monthly HOA due included in that number, right? So whatever your estimated monthly payment is, they're going to take another $100 in this example, add it on to that. And then they're going to take your debt to income ratio using those numbers and see if you qualify or how much you qualify for. So very, very key. Again, if you've got questions about this HOA or anything else we talk about, you can check out myhoustoninsideout.com. myhoustoninsideout.com is the website. There's a ton of resources there, and I am constantly trying to add content and value to you guys, so you can go there, use it as a resource. All right. The last thing is taxes. So taxes are really, really funny. Probably can come up with a better word than funny, but when you're buying new construction, the taxes are estimated, right? Because typically, let's just use we're in February right now. If you close on a house next month in March, right? The house probably, if it's being built or just finished being built, that house was not appraised in 2018 with land and what the tax authorities call the improvement, which is the house. All right. So when the house was taxed last year, it was only taxed on the value of the land, which is much, much less than the value of the land and the house, right? This year, when the taxes come out, now I'm in Texas and I'm in Houston, so typically we'll get a tax bill around the October timeframe, and it's not due until the end of January the following year. So January 31st is typically how it works for us. But what the lenders are going to do is they're gonna estimate it, all right? Until you get a real appraisal value on your house the following year, or the following October, should I say. So if you close in March of this year, you're gonna get an appraisal done probably October, right? And so your taxes are gonna adjust accordingly. Most lenders are really good about estimating what that amount is going to be. So your payment could fluctuate a little up, it could fluctuate a little bit down, depending on the actual tax value from the county, which will come out around October. So this becomes a little tricky, especially with new construction. On a resale home, it's pretty straightforward. The home's been there for years. The only caveat when it comes to a new resale is going to be the exemption. So if there's exemptions that the current homeowner has, you may not have all the exemptions that they have. All right. So, but as far as the taxes on a resale home, it's pretty straightforward. So you're going to get a prorated amount of taxes and insurance as part of your closing costs, right? And this is a very big part of your closing costs. So most lenders are going to ask you for maybe 3 months of taxes up front and maybe 2 months of insurance. The time of year that you purchase is also critical, because the lenders are going to want to have enough money to when your taxes come due October, where the bills come out. Again, they're usually paid that year by the lender. Typically the lender will pay it within the year that the actual bill comes out. So if we get a tax bill in October of 2019, the lender's probably pretty much going to pay it as soon as they get the bill, and just say November timeframe, they're going to pay it then. If you are closing close to when tax bills come out, so October timeframe, so just say you're closing in September, your closing costs are probably going to be higher, guys, because the lender has to take more money from you up front to start your escrow account, because the bill is going to be due in a month or 2 or 3, right? So if you close later in the year, you are going to probably have more taxes to bring the closing. You're gonna have more money that you're gonna need to bring up front to start your escrow account for taxes, as well as insurance. Same thing. All right, so I'm gonna do another live where we just talk about taxes and insurance and how they work, because taxes are paid in arrears, insurance is paid up front. All right, that's the way they work. So with taxes, when you're closing on a home, they're still going to do the same thing, right? Although you're paying it all a year in advance when you close, you also get an escrow account as well. So I'm going to do another live just to talk about taxes and insurance, because I could go on for a while on that, and I want to do that on this particular video. So I hope that helps, guys. Again, check out myhoustoninsideout.com, myhoustoninsideout.com. And I will be back with you guys later in the week. Have an awesome day, and we will talk soon on the next episode of Houston Inside Out.